Everything else. This is BL Blankenship, and I'm not wearing any headphones because I kind of feel like I don't have to. I don't have another person like talking, interacting with me, and whatnot on here. So I guess it's pretty safe, and it's not going to be making a bunch of racket or what have you. Anyway, I'm still on my laptop computer. I've got my nice new, where is it, light. That I went ahead and got myself off of Amazon.com, and this beautiful camera that's hooked into the laptop that Benny Rechmanoff, CEO of iShook Comics, who has a lot of stuff going on and will be with you here after all of the holidays um, to discuss so many things. Yeah, so I've been reading a lot of comics, a whole lot of stuff is going on. I don't know if I will make it down to what do you call it, the golden age 1942 tonight. Not necessarily planning on it, was kind of looking at some things if it was a maybe or whatever, but they do have a midnight comic drop that will be going on down there tonight. 20% off of back stock. uh, you can fill a long box for $20 of $1 comics, and then they've got their new thing, which is like a Halloweeny blind bag kind of thing, something about a wolf or monster or what have you. But you can check that out online. Um, there in Maryville, Tennessee, tonight at midnight. Anyway, yeah, I've been doing a bunch of reading, like I said, totally not weird at all. And I figure if I'm going to talk comics, I'm just going to go ahead and talk comics with you. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way, and then I'll say a few different thoughts maybe on some other kind of interrelated stuff and what have you. There's a lot of things going on. People like to stir drama and all that, but I'm really more about just like the content and what have you. I just read is that the first one or that's the second one? The Prodigal Son #2. So as you know, I got #1 right there. As you know, I am a Western fan. I like Westerns. They typically kind of have a formula, bleh, a formula that they would go by, and you can't hardly miss with that. So the outlaw type guy is got the little boy with him that wants to kill the people that killed his family, and he wants him to teach him to be a killer like him. There's a bunch of things that develop in this one. I've shared some pictures, but it's good. The story gets good. There's some blood, there's some violence, all that type of thing. A woman tells the guy that an eye for an eye makes the world go blind. I guess all y'all know that that's a quote from Gandhi. And then he says, yeah, he says, well, blind people don't kill and, uh, violate kids. So, yeah, don't think they do. But anyway, I went ahead and read that. Let me just see if I can find where's that page where the dude gets shot. Well, that's one page where somebody's shooting. There's a whole lot of shooting there. There. So the dude gets shot right through the head, and in that thing. Now, if I had Benny on here, he would say, man, this is going to get so flagged or whatever. This is going on my YouTube channel. It's totally not monetized, so I don't care, and it doesn't matter. But he says that things do for gore. I don't know that that's true, even though I probably could just say rape because that's the word that I was going to use, but and it doesn't matter because I'm not monetized, so whatever. And I also say that this isn't for kids. That's what I do in all my videos, even though there's nothing really wild about it, but that's the word that the guy uses in the book. The Last Starship. So I just want to say to commend Heather Antos because I don't think that she gets it a lot. I've been reading a bit of all of her Star Trek series right now, and I know she's not the one that writes it, but they are on course with Star Trek. So if you're reading this Star Trek series, The Last Starship, a lot is going on that could be unpacked in this. So if you've seen the series Star Trek Discovery all the way through, and you've seen the series Picard all the way through, which I have, by the way, I've seen all of. I've not seen all of the Lower Decks, but I've seen all of the other ones except the other animated one that's on Netflix that they pulled away, and then the other animated one. I've seen all of them that are live action. So all the movies, all the shows. But if you've seen Discovery and if you've seen Picard, then you're going to understand some things that go on here. In Discovery, they're in a ship that it can do these jumps, right, from point A to point B. That's very, very far away, and they've got the Klingon War going on in the first season. In the second season, there's some kind of like glitch, and they jump into the mirror universe, which I like. I love me some mirror universe type stuff, and there's a thing, this computer like sentient thing that Starfleet has, that they're trying, command I believe is the name of it, that they're trying to fight and everything. So essentially the Terminator, this whole thing's like coming after them and all that, and they do like a warp thing into time and go way out into the future past every single Star Trek series, period. They jump past them all to like that far in the future, and that's what you got for the last two seasons of that. So that's when you find out about the burn. And so anything that had like the warped dilithium crystals and everything, they exploded and blew up the ships and whatnot. Now, here's the deal, and I'm not going to wreck this for you. If you've not seen Discovery, then you don't know. But if you have seen, you know exactly what caused the burn to happen, what sent out like a wave through the cosmos, the galaxy, whatever, and blew apart every single one of these warp capable ships, blew them up, killed everybody on them. That the warp core just blew up on all of them. You know what did that? I don't know that that's going to be particularly relevant to the story, because the character, the main character, Black Lady, that's in that show, Michael, can't think of her last name. It got some good romantic interests and all with her and Discovery, by the way. But so she finds that out, what all's going on, her and some other individuals, and it wouldn't really make sense for them to be able to find that out in this, because it would kind of like flow against what happens in the television series. And from reading this, I sincerely believe that the writer has it way too together to do that. Why? So I also mentioned the Picard thing. So the Borg Queen, and not the Borg Queen that you're thinking of, but I'm going to say the nice Borg Queen. How does that happen? Watch Picard and you'll know. The nice Borg Queen, another Borg Queen, there's things that happened in Picard, okay? That Borg Queen makes an appearance in here, and they basically get Captain Kirk. This is a spoil on this one, but it's setting you up for the series to let you know what interest you might have. It's why you see Captain Kirk. They get like Captain Kirk stuff from the how they beam people places. They get it from all that, and they kind of like put him together and everything, and they're bringing Captain James T. Kirk here into this future point because they need him, because he's just like the baddest man on the planet, okay? So that's what you're looking at. So you've got two different things from two different Star Trek stuff. Also, they've got some throwback stuff on like the Gorn and everything going on. Where you see the Gorn at in the series, in the television series, just to throw this out there, the Gorn is in the original series. There's some fan art of that, or cover art, or what have you, that you can see in the back of this book, of that Gorn. There's some Gorn imagery and all that. I don't want to go into full detail about what all that is, but they throw the Gorn in there as a cookie or whatever for you. Yeah, there. See, but you get Gorn in the original series. You have one, kind of two episodes, let's just say two episodes of Enterprise with the Gorn. Enterprise predates all of them with Scott Bakula, and it has something to do with a future ship that came through a time portal thing from the mirror universe, and there's a Gorn on it that's got like kind of a cat of nine tails type whip or something, and just like slave driver to all these people. And Scott Bakula and them, he's Captain Archer, has to take on this Gorn in the ship, and it's extremely like original series Enterprise. That ship, they've got all the red and yellow and green or whatever stuff, and all the bells and the whistles, and all that ping and all those sounds going on in that. And then you also have the Gorn in this brand new series, Strange New Worlds. And when I say you've got the Gorn in that, you've got more Gorn in that than any other show, period. And they really take them in some interesting directions that I particularly like a lot. In fact, it's my favorite part about Strange New Worlds, by far my favorite part of the series. They've got some episodes in Strange New Worlds that are wow, and then they've got some that feel like filler. The Gorn stuff is cool. You initially see just the Gorn ships, how they fly, and all that. You then see the Gorn, kind of the younger Gorns, and they're crawling around on all fours, and they spit this kind of slobber stuff on you, and it's how they reproduce, and then they bust out of somebody like alien, more like gremlins, really. Like when the gremlins get wet, how they kind of have all this bulgy stuff and it like busts out of them. Think between aliens and that's what happens, and it takes different amounts of time for them to develop in people. And then they have several scenes with the full adult Gorns, a few episodes with that going on in the series. So you learn about the Gorn, is it homogeny or whatever the word is. There's a word. It's that's their area. But yeah, so they've got all kinds of Gorn stuff there. All of their Star Trek books have a totally different flavor that IDW is putting out, and I think that that's great because there's something for everybody. Red shirts. The first one was kind of building up, and then the second one is just whoo and hits you hard. And they've got all of this stuff that's going on there with the Romulans. This one, you've already introduced Gorn, you've introduced the Borg, you've got Captain James T. Kirk that's in it. It's the furthest one out in the future, the last starship, right? Even though we know Discovery is going to come after it, but it's it's like a past ship that's going to jump time and all, and it would be after this based on the events of what's going on in here. The burn is a good ways before Michael and all them arrive in this time. But yeah, what else? They've got Janeway. Janeway's got some cool stuff going on. There's some Borg action in that, and I believe we're talking like bad guy Borg that's going on in that. And then you've got that species that I can't remember what their name is, but they're big and imposing, and they're the only one that the Borg is afraid of. And we see some of those in the live action stuff, though rarely. But yeah, because they're on a different wavelength or whatever. It's weird stuff. They're invading. They're a threat. So I mean, all kinds of stuff is going on. Anyway, I just thought that I would go ahead and share that. Just take a moment to talk to you about all that. Whole lot of things are going on online, and I think that the beauty with life is that we don't really have to say something on anything and everything. I know that there was some particular fan art that went on, and I'm gonna just word this the way that I want to and carefully and all that, and I want you to listen and just to stay tuned here, okay? That there was a commission that was drawn by a DC artist, and it had absolute Batman choking out an ICE agent and all that. Yeah, it's commission art. So it shouldn't affect the character. It shouldn't affect the book. At the same time, he's going to be on one of those books. There's been a lot of stuff that I think is like a dog whistle for it. The individuals that have been putting it out there. Here's the thing too, and I think people look at this. It's like every time you turn a corner, it's like trying to find a reason to cancel these people, cancel these people, cancel these people. I know you're going to say, but they're giving them ammunition like this dude and what he did and how he put it out publicly. I get that. Um, DC had hired an artist who, in hindsight, they absolutely 100% should not have hired due to the inflammatory nature of that person. You get some other dude that's putting out a video asking, will Gretchen Felker try and sue DC over that, failing to mention the reality of how much money that Gretchen has made since the big stink and stir caused, by themselves with all of this, and and ugly nasty comments and the thing being pulled and all that. Over $1,000 a month, it is 6,000 and something total on a Patreon were gained from all this with other people that are professionals in comics. So the working with DC has actually opened a door to 1,000 more dollars. It's more than I'm more than I'm getting. I've got a series that's being developed, and people ask me, how much money are you making off of this? And I'm like, right now, I just keep consistently paying money, paying money, paying money, paying money. So yeah, until it's out, no money will be made, and then it'll either tank, or it will break even, or it will it'll make money, or whatever happens will happen. People, is a stirring, and there is a demand, and people are excited about it. And again, I say this, and when I talk about things like this, I think about stuff like this, and I know Batman is a character, and he's got established this and this and this, and you can go back and forth with him, and bad cops, and people being expressive, and this apples and oranges and chalk and cheese and all this type of thing. My books that I'm working on developing, they're for mature audiences, and they're going to be what they're going to be. And I will just go ahead and tell you straight out the gate, if you're offended by anything, don't read them. Don't want to hear it. Don't care. I mean, you can check it out. Check it out. Read it if you want to. And if it's not your cup of tea, that's okay. Because I would rather write something that someone would absolutely adore than some middle of the road schlock. Because I think that if you're writing for everybody, that you're writing for nobody. And I kind of think, that's the deal with a lot of things. So, people criticize the dude and say, you're cutting off half your audience, and does the other audience want this? Because that's the stone that's being thrown. But, I mean, it is what it is, and particularly in that case, it was a commission that the dude was putting out. Somebody was in a rear naked choke. I heard somebody talking about that, and I absolutely knew what that was, because I used to follow MMA like more hardcore than any normal person ever did. I had somebody try to recruit me for that, and what I told the dude is, I said, man, I said, I really feel like it would suck if I hit somebody as hard as I could and they just laughed. These aren't normal people that you're just going to walk through, or you're going to level, or whatever. They don't care if you split their lip wide open. They don't care if you flatten their nose or whatever. It's just funny. It's like game on. So yeah. My favorite, by the way, was Fedora Emelianenko. I love that dude. He would like crack people's heads open like an egg. Don't know if y'all have seen Pride Fighting and whatnot, but yeah. Gina Carano was my girl. I loved Gina Carano before Gina Carano was the Gina Carano that people know her as. Before it was cool to be a Gina Carano fan, I was a Gina Carano fan. I began watching her on Fight Girls. She was one of the coaches. That was a show on MTV. Season 2 is where I picked up watching her. And yeah, she's really nice looking. But liked her as a fighter. I kept up with the record. I knew all of her stats and everything. I just thought that she was fantastic and has a lot of integrity and love for people as well. So pretty on the inside, pretty on the outside. Game on, Gina. That's all for me right now. Whole lot going on. Can bring it to you more later, whatnot. Might hook up with some other people and kind of get a conversation going or whatnot. And definitely we'll be getting back with Benny and doing some things there. Hope you all are having a great